Hello students! Welcome to our video tutorial in Mathematics 9. We are now in quarter 3, week 5, and we will review about ratio and proportion. Let us recall first what is a ratio. Now let us consider this example. If there are 40 students and 2 wall fans in a classroom, what is the student wall fan ratio? Do you still remember how to express this in ratio? Let us check. The student wall fan ratio is 40:2 or 20:1. How did we get 20:1? We get the greatest common factor of 40 and 2, so which is 2. So 40 divided by 2, that is 20, and 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. So the student wall fan ratio is 40:2 or 20:1. Or we can express the ratio in this form of 40/2, but we still have to reduce that to lowest term. Again, divide both numerator and denominator by 2. So 40 divided by 2 is 20, and 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. So it could be 40/2 is equal to 20/1. That is the student wall fan ratio. So to recall, a ratio is a comparison of two or more quantities. It can be written in a variety of forms or ways. It could be A to B, or it could be A is to B using the colon, or A over B using the fractional bar. Given two numbers A and B, where B should not be equal to 0, a ratio is A divided by B. Ratios, it's like fraction. It can be written also in its lowest terms. For example, we have here 8/20. You can simplify that into 2/5. If we're going to reduce the to lowest term, we are going to divide both the numerator and denominator by its greatest common factor, which is 4. So 8 divided by 4, that is 2, and 20 divided by 4 is equal to 5. So the ratio is 8:20, can be written as 2:5 in its simplest form. It is possible to have the ratio of 3 or more numbers as well. The ratio of 3 numbers, C, D, and E, can be expressed as C colon D colon E, or that is read as C:D E. This means that the ratio of the first two numbers is C:D, and the ratio of the last two numbers is D:E, and the ratio of the first and last number is C:E. Now let's have a review. Let us simplify the following ratios. We're going to express this in its lowest term. Number 1, we have 36:12. What is the answer? We have there 3:1. So we divide both by 12. So 36 divided by 12, that is 3, and 12 divided by 12, that is equal to 1. Okay, check. We have number 2, 81:27:9. How are we going to simplify the ratios? What is their greatest common factor? Of course, it's 9. So 81 divided by 9, that is 9. And 27 divided by 9, that is 3. And 9 divided by 9, that is equal to 1. So we have 9:3:1. Very good. Let's have number 3. We have 8:16:32:40. So I will give you 2 seconds to think of your answer. So we have 1 is to 2 is to 4 is to 5. We divide each by 8. Good. Number 4. 11 is to 44. Let's check your answer. Oops, we have 1 is to 4. Did you get it right? I hope so. We have number 5. 6 is to 18. How will you simplify this one? Of course, we have 1 is to 3. We divide both by 6. And for the last number, we have 55 is to 33 is to 22. What do you think is the simplest form of these ratios? Let's check. So we have 5 is to 3 is to 2. So what number we divide to each number? It's 11. So 55 divided by 11 is equal to 5. 33 divided by 11 is 3. And 22 divided by 11 is equal to 2. So I hope you already recall how to simplify ratios. Now at this time, let us apply what we've learned in solving for ratio. Okay, we have here illustrative example number 1. The angles of a triangle are in the ratio of 1 is to 2 is to 3. Find the measure of each angle. So how are we going to solve this one? So for the solution, we will let x be the measure of the first angle. And we have 2x will be the measure of the second angle. And we will let 3x be the measure of the third angle. Now, since, remember that in a triangle, there are 3 angles. So we have first, second, and third angle. So what do you think are we going to do with x, 2x, and 3x? Remember that we are to find the measure of each angle. So before we can solve for the measure of each angle, we have to solve first for the value of x. So what we're going to do is to add x plus 2x plus 3x, and that would be equal to 180 degrees. Why? Remember that the sum of the measures of the angles of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. So combine all variables or terms with x. So we have x plus 2x plus 3x is equal to 6x is equal to 180 degrees. Since we're going to solve for x, divide both sides of the equation by 6. So 6 divided by 6, that would be equal to 1. Or you can write x. And 180 degrees divided by 6, that would be equal to 30 degrees. Now, since we have already the value of x, which is 30, we can solve now for the measure of each angle. So how? So to find the measure of each angle, we have to substitute the value of x, which is 30. Now, since we let x be the first angle, so therefore x is equal to 30. That is the measure of the first angle. And you have there 2x, so 2 times 30, which is 60. So that would be the measure of the second angle. And the third one, we have here 3x, so 3 times 30, that would be equal to 90 degrees, and that would be the measure of the third angle. So therefore, the measure of each angle is 30 degrees, 60 degrees, and 90 degrees. And to check if it's really true, so if we will add 30 plus 60 plus 90, would that be equal to 180 degrees? Yes, so 180 degrees is equal to 180 degrees, which is true. Therefore, we find the correct answer of the measure for each angle. Okay, let us consider this problem. Suppose the length and the width of a flat screen television screen are 48 inches and 32 inches respectively. If the image for the advertisement of the television has a length of 12 inches, how wide should the image be? Now at this time, this situation forms two equivalent ratios, which is expressed as proportion. Now, since we know already about ratio at this time, we will review about proportion. So we will solve this problem together. Always remember that a proportion states that the two ratios are equal. Now, in the given problem, the ratio of the dimensions of the television is 48 is to 32, while the ratio of the dimensions of the advertisement is 12 is to x. So meaning we are going to find the width of the image. Now, since the new length is 12 inches is 1/4 of 48, that means that the width of the image should also be 1/4 of the width of the original. Hence, the width of the image must be 1/4 of 32, and 1/4 of 32 is equal to 8 inches. By using proportion, we will be able to solve the missing dimension of the image. If the ratios 48 is to 32 and 12 is to 8 are expressed in lowest terms, they will both be equal to 3 is to 2. Therefore, 48 is to 32 and 12 is to 8 are equal ratios or simply proportional. Before, I'm going to show you the solution on how we find the value of x, which is 8. Now, let us have first this definition and identifying the parts of a proportion. Always remember that a proportion is a statement of equality between two ratios. Now, in symbols, we have here a over b is equal to c over d, or we can express this as a is to b is equal to c is to d, where b and d should not be equal to 0. Now, your a there, we will consider that as the first term, b as your second term is equal to c as your third term, and d is equal to fourth term. Now, in the expression, we have there a is to b is equal to c is to d. The two outer variable there, which are a and d, they are considered as the extremes. And we have here the b and the c at the center, they are the means. Now, I know that you're familiar with the means and the extremes. Now, what is the fundamental law of proportion? How do we know if the two ratios are proportion? Always remember this one. If the product of the means is equal to the product of the extremes, or vice versa, which means the product of the extremes is equal to the product of the means, that means that the two ratios is in proportion, or they are proportion. Now, in the given example above, that is BC is equal to AD, or AD is equal to BC. So, which means the two ratios are proportion. Now, let me show you the solution on how we find the value of x, which is equal to 8. Now, in the given problem, we have here 48 is to 32 is equal to 12 is to x, meaning we're going to solve for x. So what we're going to do is to multiply the means we have here and the extreme. The extremes are 48 times x, so we have 48x and 12 times 32. So these are the extremes. Now to solve for x, we're going to eliminate this 48. So divide both sides by 48. So we can cancel 48 and 48. So we only have here x, because 48 divided by 48 is equal to 1. Your x here understood that there is 1 here. Then we have here 384 divided by 48. So we have 8. So therefore, our x is equal to 8. So since the unknown here is the 8, which is equal to 8, so therefore the width of the image of the television with 12 inches length must be 8 inches. Now, if we are going to check if our answer is really true, we are going to substitute the value of x here. So we have 48 is to 32 is equal to 12 is to x. Substitute the value of x, which is 8. Now you multiply 48 times 8, which are the extremes, would that be equal? We do not know, no? Would that be equal to 32 times 12, the means? So 48 times 8, that is 384, and 32 times 12, that is also equal to 384. So therefore, 384 is equal to 384, which is true. Therefore, the value of x, which is 8, is true because it will make the two ratios into a proportion. Now, actually, in your modules or in your SLK, you have there the different properties of proportion. There are also explanations and examples there. What are these properties all about and how are we going to apply this? So we have here the cross multiplication property, alternation property, inverse property, addition property, subtraction property, and we have the numerator denominator sum property. Now, later, I will give examples wherein we can be able to apply some of these properties. Okay, let's have example 1. Find the value of x in the proportion 4 over x is equal to 6 over 9. So solution now. At this time, I'm going to show you how to apply some of the properties of proportion in solving for the value of x. So we have here number 1. First, we're going to use the cross multiplication property in solving for x. So we have here 4 over x is equal to 6 over 9. So cross multiplication, which means that we are going to multiply the x with 6 and 4 with 9. So it will go this way. So 6 times x, so we cross multiply 6 times x, that would be equal to 4 times 9. So we have 6x is equal to 36 and divide both sides of the equation by 6. So therefore, our x is equal to 6. Another property that we're going to apply is we have by using the alternation method. So again, we have here the given, and from 4 over x, that would be 4 over 6 is equal to 9, is equal to x over 9. So we exchange the position of x and 6. So that would be, again, and next, apply cross multiplication. We have 6x is equal to 36. Again, your x is still equal to 6. Another property is by using the inverse property. So from the word inverse, no? So from the given, that will become, so 4 over x will become now x over 4, and 6 over 9 will be equal to 9 over 6. Then after that, apply cross multiplication. So still you have their x times 6, so that would be 6x, and that would be equal to 4 times 9. So 6x is equal to 36. So x still equal to 6. Another is using addition property. So you have there the given. So how do we apply addition here? So you have there 4 plus x over x. And that would be equal to 6 plus 9 over 9. So the denominator, you have there x. We also added x on the numerator. And on the other side of the equation, we have 9. We also added 9 on the numerator. Then, you cross multiply. So apply cross multiplication. That means 9 times the quantity 4 plus x equals x. Then multiply to 6 plus 9. Then, we're going to apply here distributive property. Multiply 9 times 4, so we have 36. 9 times x, so we have here 9x. Then on the other side, we have x times 6, so we have 6x. And x times 9, you have here 9x. Of course, the operation between 6 and 9 is plus, so just copy plus. Then, combine similar terms. So, copy 9x, then transfer 9 to the other side. So, since this is positive, so that will become negative 9x. Then, this also positive 6x, again, transfer to the other side. So, that's why it becomes now negative 6x is equal to negative 36. Where did this negative 36 came from? This 36 will be transferred to the other side. Since from here this is positive, so this will become negative here. Then combine, we can cancel 9x and 9x because 9x minus 9x is equal to 0. So what will remain here is negative 6x is equal to negative 36. Then divide both sides by negative, okay, negative 6. Here also, divide both sides by negative 6. So we can cancel the 6. So your x is equal to positive 6 because negative divided by negative is positive. So still, the value of x is equal to 6. Another is using the subtraction property. So we have here, okay, 4 over x. So again, the denominator is x. So we have here minus x. Then the other side is minus 9. Again, we're going to cross multiply. Cross multiply. Okay, so that means 9 times quantity quantity 4 minus x is equal to x times quantity 6 minus 9. Again, apply distributive property here, multiply. 9 times 4 is 36. Then 9 times x, you have here, since x is negative, so 9 times negative x, you have negative 9x. And then x times 6, so we have here 6x. And x times negative 9, so you have here negative 9x. And then combine all similar terms, all with x, all terms with x combine. So copy negative 9, then transpose negative 9 here to the other side. So it becomes positive 9x. Then this positive x, positive 6x, transfer here, so that will become negative 6x is equal to, again, this 36 will be transferred to the other side. So that's why it becomes negative 36. So we can cancel this negative 9 and a positive 9 because that will result to 0. So we have here negative 6x is equal to negative 36. Again, divide both sides by negative 6. Okay, by negative 6. So our x here is equal to positive 6. So still, we get positive 6. So we use different properties. As long as the process is correct, then we will derive at the same value of x. Now let's have example number 2. If a is to b is equal to 4 is to 3, find 3a minus 2b is to 3a plus b. Now, before we can find the ratio of 3a minus 2b is to 3a plus b, what we're going to do is to find first the value of a. It could be a or it could be the value of b. Now, we have here the solution. So, we have here a over b is equal to 4 over 3. Now, we will solve a in terms of b. So, if we're going to cross multiply, so we have here a times 3, we have 3a, and b times 4, we have 4b. Now, to solve for a, we are going to divide this by 3. Divide both sides by 3. So, we have here a is equal to 4b over 3. Now, what we're going to do is to substitute the value of a, which is 4b over 3, in this given ratio to solve for the ratio of the 3a minus 2b is to 3a plus b. So using a is equal to 4b over 3. So we have here, use this ratio given above, then substitute the value of a, and remember that the value of a is 4b over 3 minus 2b. Then again, in the denominator, substitute the value of a, which is 4b over 3 plus b. Now, what we're going to do next is to simplify. Now, if we're going to multiply this 3, you can cancel 3 here and the 3 here, because we can apply cancellation method when the operation involved is multiplication. And we can also cancel 3 here and 3 here. So what will remain here is this 4b minus 2b. And in the denominator, we have only here, what's left is 4b plus b. And if we're going to simplify 4b minus 2b, so we have here 2b. And 4b plus b, we have here 5b. And since we have here a common variable, which is b, we can still divide b by b, or which is equal to 1, or we can cancel that b. So what will remain here is 2 over 5. Now, since we have here 2a minus 2b in the numerator, that means that is represented by 2, and the denominator 3a plus b, that is represented by 5. So which means here that 3a minus 2b is to 3a plus b is equal to 2 is to 5. So therefore, the ratio here, the final answer is 2 is to 5. Now, let's try answering this proportion. Let's check how fast you are in finding the value of x. Number 1, find the value of x given x is to 4 is equal to 5 is to 10. What's your answer? So for the solution, so we have here multiply the means and the extremes. So we have here x times 10, so we have here 10x is equal to 4 times 5, so we have here 20. Divide both sides by 10, so therefore your x is equal to 2. Now to check if the answer is correct, you substitute 2 here. So you multiply 2 times 10 is 20, and 4 times 5 is also equal to 20. So since the two ratios are equal, so therefore they are proportion. Okay, that's correct. Let's have number 2. We have 8 over 10 is equal to 12 over x. So what's the value of x? So solution, again, apply. You cross multiply. So 8 times x, you have 8x. Then 10 times 12, so you have your 120. Divide both sides by 8. Here also divided by 8. So therefore, the value of your x is 15. So you substitute and then you simplify. So to check if the value of x is correct. So therefore, both are equal to 120. Therefore, they are proportion. Okay. Next, number 3, we have here x over x plus 8 is equal to x minus 8 over 5. Again, solution. cross multiplication again, you cross multiply. So we have 16 times 5, and you have your quantity x plus 8 times quantity x minus 8. So we have 80 is equal to, apply distribution property, x times x, then x times negative 8, then 8 times x, then 8 times negative 8, or remember the sum and difference. So if we are multiplying to same first term and second term, we can also apply the sum and difference, no? Sum and difference. So that is equal to x squared minus 64. Okay? Then combine all the constants. So we have here 80, then transpose 64 to the other side, so that will become plus 64 is equal to x squared. Then add these two, so 80 plus 64, that is 144 is equal to x squared. Now to eliminate the exponent here too, so we have to extract both sides of the equation. So square root of x squared, so that means we can cancel the x and the radical sign. So therefore x is equal to square root of 144, that is positive or negative 12, or we can write it separately. We can have x is equal to 12 and or x is equal to negative 12. Now you can check your answer if both the positive and the negative 12 will satisfy the proportion. Okay, number 4. Two complementary angles are in the ratio of 2:3. Find the measure of each angle. So for the solution, we will let 2x be the first angle. Where did we get 2? From the given 2. No, and then we will just represent x for the unknown measure. Then 3x from the given 3 will be the second angle. Now, remember, when we say complementary angles, the sum of the two angles, the sum of the measures of the two angles when added must be equal to 90 degrees. So what are we going to do is to add 2x plus 3x is equal to 90 degrees, because the keyword here is complementary. So you have here 2x plus 3x is equal to 5x, and that is equal to 90 degrees. Then divide both sides by 5. So therefore, the value of x is equal to 18. We're not yet done because we are asked to find the measure of each angle. Now, since we have already the value of x, which is 18 at this time, we can be able now to solve for the measure of each angle. Now, since we let the first angle as 2x, so you have here 2, then substitute the value of x, which is 18. So 2 times x, that is 2 times 18, that is equal to 36. So meaning the first angle is 36 degrees. And the second angle, we have here 3x, that is equal to 3 times the value of x, which is 18, is equal to 54. Now, if we're going to add this 36 and 54, will they result to 90 degrees? Yes. So therefore, the value of x, which is 8, is correct. Now, for the conclusion, the first angle, or the two angles, measures 30 degrees and 54 degrees. Okay? Okay, question, an example number 5. The angles of a triangle are in the ratio of 2:3:5. Find the measure of the smallest angle. So what we're going to do is to find the measure of the smallest angle. Okay, what are we going to do first? Now, we will let 2x be the smallest angle. and we will let 3x the bigger angle, and we have 5x the biggest angle. So where did we get 2, 3, and 5? From the given ratio here, 2 is to 3 is to 5. X here represent the unknown measure. So we will solve first for the value of x. Now, since our clue here is triangle, so meaning to say we will add 2x plus 3x plus 5x. So we'll add the three angles, and their sum will be 180 degrees because we are referring to the angles of a triangle. So 2x plus 3x plus 5x, so we have 10x is equal to 180. Then divide both sides by 10, so therefore our x is equal to 18. Now, since we are asked to find for the smallest angle, so before we can conclude which angle is the smallest, we have to simplify, we have to substitute first the value of x, no, in each angle. So 2x here is the smallest angle. So 2 times 18, that is 36. Then 3x, 3 times 18, that is 54. Then 5x, again, substitute 18 for the value of x. So 5 times 18, so we have here 90. So what is our final answer? Since we are asked to find for the smallest angle, therefore the smallest angle there is 36. Okay? I hope that's clear and you remember about ratio and proportion. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you learn something about ratio and proportion. So, continue studying guys. Dahil sa math, ang buhay ay aangat. Thank you!